I have to admit I've become rather fond of the place. The Saddledome has been a part of my life since it opened in 1983. In fact, I was there for the opening. The Central Memorial High School Golden Rams Marching Band, yes, it's a mouthful, performed at the official opening ceremony. Playing my baritone horn, I marched with the rest of the band, counterclockwise, around the Saddledome's concourse. If you think it's loud in between periods, imagine the horns and drums echoing off the concrete. Quite the din. As we marched, I would sneak glimpses to my left of the playing surface, before the ice had even been made for the Flames and, in a few years, the Winter Olympics. You can't underestimate the impact of an NHL franchise for Calgary and a 19,000-seat arena for the Flames to play in. When the Flames moved here from Atlanta in 1980, Calgary's population was roughly 500,000. At last we had caught up with Winnipeg, a city now dwarfed by Calgary's growth. Cable TV in the 1970s had brought American pro sports into my home, from exotic locations like Pittsburgh, Cleveland, and St. Louis. With an NHL franchise, Calgary had joined the big leagues. Only a few years later I returned to the Saddledome for another counterclockwise journey. I had started at CTV, then CFCN, in 1990. The Saddledome in Calgary, Alta, Friday, September 15, 2017. The Canadian press/Jeff McIntosh photographer Kevin Green and I were alone outside one of the dressing rooms in the lower level of the arena, waiting for Jean Chrétien and his wife, Aileen, to emerge. The federal Liberals had just elected Chrétien as their leader. The Chrétien emerged and began walking toward their destiny in Canadian politics as Kevin and I walked backwards around the Saddledome, up the stairs, through the concourse and into the arena. The ability to shoot in focus and walk backwards is one of the most undervalued skills of news photographers. As we walked, the crowd grew, the cheering began. While the Calgary Convention never gave the Liberals the springboard they had hoped for in Alberta, Chrétien was elected Prime Minister in 1993 and served for 10 years. The only oversights in my personal history at the Saddledome: the 1988 Winter Olympics and the Flames' 1989 Stanley Cup victory. As Gordon Lightfoot and Ian Tyson sang Alberta Bound at the opening ceremony at McMahon Stadium, I was in a newsroom in Regina, desperately wishing I was home. There might have been a few tears. Only a year later the Flames won the Stanley Cup, clinching the championship at the Montreal Forum, another arena that's no longer relevant for the NHL. When Lanny McDonald put the puck past Patrick Roy, I was in Fredericton, New Brunswick, celebrating with one too many Moosehead beers. By the Flames' historic 2004 Stanley Cup run I was back home, raising a young family. I remember seeing the faces of young people flooding the Red Mile.